Jey Uso wins Money in the Bank. Sasha Banks, now known as Mercedes Moné, has been accused of manipulating Tony Khan in AEW. Sasha Banks called out for having a big ego. Tiffany Stratton addresses a very controversial social media post. LA Knight requested creative freedom to pay tribute to Bray Wyatt. Grayson is worried after a major loss on WWE SmackDown. Chad Gables plans to get rid of the Wyatt Six. Jacob Fatu's views on Solo Sikoa's massive shot at Roman Reigns on WWE SmackDown. Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman spotted together for the first time at Sikoa's memorial service. Let's dive right in. Sasha Banks, now known as Mercedes Moné, has been accused of manipulating Tony Khan in AEW. Mercedes Moné's arrival in AEW has significantly reshaped the promotion's landscape. As the TBS champion, as well as the NJPW Women's Strong champion, she has a lot of responsibilities. With that said, a former WWE personality has accused Moné of manipulating Tony Khan. It was previously reported that Mercedes Moné is the highest-paid women's wrestler in the business right now. However, many fans believe that she does not deserve the money she gets at all. While speaking on Storytime with Dutch Mantel, the former WWE personality expressed doubts about Mercedes Moné's reported earnings, suggesting Tony Khan's financial decisions might be overgenerous. He criticized her lack of drawing power and speculated that she alienates viewers due to her perceived unlikability and possible lack of self-awareness. Mantel remarked that Moné may not heed advice to change her approach and could influence decisions within AEW and manipulate Tony Khan, potentially detracting from the company's appeal. He concluded that instead of creating interest, Moné's presence might lead some viewers to disengage mentally when she appears. I guess from what I'm hearing, I don't think she's Mercedes Moné making all that money that she claimed she's making or it's reported she's making. Maybe because Tony Khan's got more money than he's got sense at this point. She is not turning any numbers. I don't think anybody over there is turning the numbers that could quantify their paycheck. She's turning channels to other channels when she's on. She lost the fans almost immediately because I think she's just so intrinsically unlikable that she can't hide it, and she may not even have the self-awareness. And okay, if anybody tells her, you need to stop this, she's not going to listen to them. She is better than AEW combined, just herself. If some producer comes up to her and tells her, can you stop that? Even if Tony Khan comes up to her and tells her to stop doing something, she will talk to him. She'll show him respect, but she'll talk him into allowing her to do it. So I don't see what we want to do in wrestling is create interest. She's creating disinterest. When she comes out there, a lot of people said they may not turn the channel, but they may turn their brain off when she comes out. Mercedes Moné also bragged about getting lucrative contracts from various promotions before joining AEW. Regardless, as the double champion, Mercedes Moné will remain busy on AEW television, and she is now more focused on her current feud with Britt Baker. Therefore, we will have to wait and see how AEW will book their feud in the coming weeks. Do you believe Mercedes Moné might be manipulating Tony Khan? Sasha Banks called out for having a big ego. Dutch Mantel then added that Moné wants to have an ego in AEW and warned AEW not to have Moné tell management what they want or do not want to do, as others in AEW would see that management do not have control like they thought they did. I hate to tell you, your talent is not in your interviews, I'll tell you that. And I don't think it's in your work, to tell you the truth. I see nothing in her, and I can see why she didn't get along with WWE, because she has an ego. You can't have an ego in WWE, especially when Vince was there. Vince had the ego. Nobody else had one. So if you wanted to match egos with him, go in there and talk to him. The next thing we see is you're walking out the door with your bag in your hand. And now she wants to have an ego there. They still won't put up with it. You cannot allow that to happen. You cannot allow the talent to tell the management what they'll do or won't do, because pretty soon, the other talent sees that the management doesn't have control like they thought they did. Tiffany Stratton addresses a very controversial social media post. Tiffany Stratton has quickly climbed to the Tiffy top in WWE as one of its fastest rising stars on the main roster. However, she was once surrounded by controversy on social media, which she recently addressed heading into the Money in the Bank PLE in Toronto. Earlier this year, Tiffany Stratton reposted a story on Instagram that consisted of a racial slur towards Jade Cargill. After discovering the insensitive fan edit, the 25-year-old star quickly took the story down. Sadly, the damage was done, and many eyebrows were raised. In an interview with Adrian Hernandez ahead of Money in the Bank in Canada, the interviewer asked the former NXT Women's Champion about the incident. The 25-year-old star detailed what transpired and how it was nothing more than an honest mistake from the rising star's side. Yeah, it was an honest mistake. I didn't hear the audio, and I had it up for maybe 20 seconds, and I deleted it instantly as soon as I heard the audio. It was an honest mistake, Stratton said. Luckily, all the parties involved understood the honest mistake and moved on with their respective careers. After a brief hiatus from in-ring competition, Tiffany Stratton returned and reached the top of the women's division on WWE NXT. The rising star also had a decent run with the WWE NXT Women's Championship, which impressed many across both brands. Last year, Bianca Belair appeared on the Reality of Wrestling podcast and spoke highly of the buff Barbie. The EST of WWE claimed Stratton would be a future star and enjoyed her title reign on the developmental brand. I was very impressed with her, like how quickly she became a champion in such a short amount of time. I don't think people realize how impressive that is to, maybe be there a year and some change and you're champion. You're being thrown into that, and she did so well in that role. I think she's a star now, and she's going to be a star in the future. Earlier this year, the two stars locked horns on WWE SmackDown, where Belair defeated Stratton in the Queen of the Ring tournament. LA Knight requested creative freedom to pay tribute to Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt returned to WWE during Extreme Rules back in 2022, and fans couldn't have been happier. However, Wyatt passed away last year and left behind a legacy that will forever remain untouched. When Bray Wyatt made his return to WWE, he was instantly put into a program with LA Knight, and they had a largely memorable feud. Wyatt would turn out to be LA Knight's final opponent before his passing. Following the passing of Bray Wyatt in August 2023, Knight appeared on SmackDown and delivered a heartfelt tribute, expressing his deep respect for the three-time WWE World Champion. It was significant that Knight was chosen to give this promo, as he had been Wyatt's final opponent in the ring. While speaking to Adrian Hernandez in recent interview, LA Knight talked about the challenge of addressing Bray Wyatt while maintaining respect and keeping the business moving forward. He needed a lot of freedom to do this, and requested WWE the ability to handle it his way. Knight was allowed to go out and improvise, which he felt resulted in a positive outcome. This experience was significant for him, marking a major turning point. He saw it as a crucial moment where he could either just be another participant or make a significant impression alongside a major figure in the business, Bray Wyatt. I needed to go out and talk about him while also keeping the business moving and not disrespecting at the same time. So, finding that happy medium, I needed to ask for a lot of freedom. Hey, if I'm going to do this, I need to do it this way, and let me just go out there and riff. Thankfully, they were able to let me do that, and that's what I did. I think we came out with a pretty good thing. For me, there was a lot of meaning behind that because, again, it was one of my pretty much major turning points where it was like, all right, sink or swim. I can either go here and just be a guy who's just in a thing, or I can be a guy who's going to make a real impression with another guy who was a major mainstay in the business. LA Knight also wished he wasn't Bray Wyatt's last match in WWE. Bray Wyatt's profound influence on the wrestling world will be commemorated for generations, and his creating an entirely different gimmick for himself was simply proof of his genius, as he will never be forgotten no matter what. Were you touched by LA Knight's tribute promo on Bray Wyatt? Grayson Waller is worried after a major loss on WWE SmackDown. WWE SmackDown didn't go as per Grayson Waller and Austin Theory's plans when they lost their titles to DIY, aka Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa. Today, Waller broke his silence and addressed the loss on social media. Earlier this year, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory etched their names in history as the inaugural WWE Tag Team Champions of the modern era. Before feuding with DIY on Friday Night SmackDown, the two rising stars had a handful of title defenses on television and live events. On the recent edition of WWE SmackDown, Gargano and Ciampa won the titles from A-Town Down Under, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, in Canada. Today, Waller broke his silence and addressed the devastating loss on X. He also name-dropped Hall of Famer Trish Stratus. "Waking up realizing you lost the title in front of Trish Stratus," Waller wrote. Last year, Grayson Waller ended his run on the developmental brand and arrived on WWE's main roster under Triple H's creative leadership. The 34-year-old star has already shared the ring with several veterans, including Edge, John Cena, Rey Mysterio, and many more. However, Conan pointed out a grave mistake in his finishing move and wants the star to work on it. Speaking on Keepin' It 100 official, the WCW veteran wants Waller to change his finishing move, as he often fails to hit it. Here's the only problem that I'm having with that. Grayson Waller's done that 4 or 5 times already, where he rolls into the ring and gets hit with something. He needs to hit the guy with something now before it just, you know what I'm saying? The novelty wears off, Conan said. A potential Grayson Waller heel turn against Austin Theory has been teased over the last few weeks, and Waller could likely focus on a singles career going forward on the Blue brand. Chad Gables plans to get rid of the Wyatt Six. WWE superstar Chad Gable was one of the main victims of the Wyatt Six annihilation on Monday Night Raw a few weeks ago. Now, the star has outlined his strategy for dealing with the sinister friends if they sabotage his chance to become the Mr. Money in the Bank 2024. After Master Gable was shot dead at the hands of the Uncle Howdy-led faction, he pulled a miracle and returned to TV. The 38-year-old then defeated Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman in a triple threat contest to punch his ticket to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. The Alpha Academy member will face Drew McIntyre, LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, and Jey Uso for the prestigious MITB briefcase at the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Canada. During the WWE MITB 2024 kickoff show, Michael Cole pressed Chad Gable about his plan if the Wyatt Six decided to interfere during the ladder match. The former Raw Tag Team Champion stated, "Now, as far as the Wyatt Six go, I am going to look them right in the eye, like I have been in the last couple of weeks, okay? I ain't wearing sunglasses like the rest of these clowns up here. You can look me right in the eye." The 38-year-old's on-screen presence has developed ever since he turned heel, attacking Sami Zayn after failing to capture the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Gable also berated Alpha Academy members Otis, Tozawa, and Maxine Dupree before they left his side. During an appearance on the Cheap Heat podcast, Master Gable shared that 14-time world champion Randy Orton broke character and appreciated him for his recent performance on TV. And to me, I was taken aback to come from a guy like Randy Orton, who's done it all and gets the highest praise from everybody. That meant the world to me, he said. It remains to be seen if the Wyatt Six potentially appear in Toronto, Canada, to cost the Alpha Academy member the 2024 Money in the Bank briefcase. Jacob Fatu's views on Solo Sikoa's massive shot at Roman Reigns on WWE SmackDown. Jacob Fatu has responded to Solo Sikoa's bold message to Roman Reigns in his latest tweet. The enforcer made it clear that Reigns will have to take the undisputed WWE Championship from him if he wants it back. In a shocking turn of events, Solo took a massive shot at the Tribal Chief on tonight's edition of WWE SmackDown. He stated that Reigns wasn't man enough to defend the top prize and the Bloodline's legacy against Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania XL. He then declared himself the new Tribal Chief and told Cody he was coming for the title. Solo said that Reigns would have to take the coveted belt from him if he wanted it. Soon after, the Bloodline's newest member, Jacob Fatu, responded to Solo's tweet. WWE acknowledged Solo Sikoa, he wrote. A few weeks ago, Jacob Fatu joined the Bloodline in his WWE debut. The Samoan werewolf instantly became a hit with the fans by putting down Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, and Kevin Owens. Many fans are hoping to see a face-off between Reigns and Fatu somewhere down the line. Reigns has been away from WWE TV since Mania, but will return somewhere down the line, possibly as a babyface. Are you excited for a potential Reigns versus Solo encounter? Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman spotted together for the first time at Sika's memorial service. Paul Heyman was recently written off WWE SmackDown in Roman Reigns' absence. The two close allies were recently spotted together for the first time since WrestleMania XL. Reigns' father, Sika, peacefully passed away last week. The Tribal Chief was recently spotted with a few big names at his family at his father's memorial service. Last week, Reigns' father, Sika, passed away at the age of 79. A memorial service was held in his honor earlier this week, where Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, Rikishi, and The Rock's mother, Ada Joseon, were spotted among other members of the Anoa'i family. A young member of the Anoa'i family shared multiple photographs of the family at the service. He accompanied it with a touching message about his family. Uncle Pola's service was a heartfelt gathering. Several of us had the opportunity to share our thoughts and memories, expressing our feelings and honoring his memory. Afterward, we came together as a family to spend some time together, reflecting and supporting one another. It is the first time Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns have been photographed together since WrestleMania XL, where the Tribal Chief lost his undisputed WWE Championship. It is also the first time Paul Heyman has been seen since receiving a beatdown of a lifetime at the hands of Solo Sikoa's Bloodline. Jey Uso wins Money in the Bank. Predicting the future is never simple, but with Jey Uso, it just could be. In just 1 year, the main event has gone from a tag team star to a singles icon, and the WWE Universe is loving it. Now, he can take things to the next level at Money in the Bank. As many readers know, Jey Uso is one of 6 superstars who has qualified for the Money in the Bank ladder match. Some may even say that he is the favorite heading in. Well, being the speculatory creatures that we are, let's play devil's advocate and say he does win. What is next? We all are fully aware that Jey Uso could very well be Mr. Money in the Bank when all is said and done. But what comes after he ascends the ladder? Well, worry not, because here are 3 things that could happen if he manages to yeet his way to victory. Number 1, the bloodline could cost him when it matters most. If there is one thing that Jey Uso will always have to be wary of, it's the bloodline. Ever since he left his family high and dry, they've had their eye on him. This is especially true now more than ever, since solo Sikoa is the one in charge. With that in mind, the bloodline could attack Jey when it matters most. In this scenario, that would be the exact moment after he cashes in the Money in the Bank contract. It would be a huge blow for Jey and would derail all the hard work he would have put in to reach that point. On the other hand, it would add fuel to the fire and contribute to the inevitable clash between the old guard of the bloodline and the new. Number 2, Jey Uso could do the unimaginable and cash in for the tag team titles. Jey Uso has really built up some momentum since becoming a single star. However, there is a chance that he could do the craziest thing ever and cash in to become a tag team champion once more. This would certainly be a first, but in this case, he would be doing it with his brother, Jimmy Uso. Since being kicked out of the bloodline, many have been speculating that an Usos reunion is on the horizon. Well, if that proves to be the case, one cannot rule out the idea of Jey cashing in for the tag titles from the realm of possibility. That said, it probably won't sit too well with the WWE Universe. Number 3, Roman Reigns helps Jey become a world champion. Outside of Jey Uso possibly becoming Mr. Money in the Bank, one thing the WWE Universe is hoping to see very soon is the return of Roman Reigns. The big dog is expected to be back by SummerSlam, where he will potentially start his feud with the solo Sikoa-led Bloodline. But if that happens, he will need allies, and he might find one in Jey Uso. Who knows? Reigns may even try to win his cousin back to his side by turning a new leaf. He could do that by helping Jey become a world champion and assisting him when he cashes in. But at the end of the day, this is all just speculation. There is no telling what will happen at Money in the Bank, let alone if Jey will win.